Hello everybody, welcome to a new half term of coding. We're going to be starting a new topic today, which I'm going to share with you now. So let me share my screen. We're going to be learning about spreadsheets this half term. So you may have heard of the word spreadsheet before, but I'm going to teach you all about what it is, why we use it, and how we use it. So a spreadsheet is a computer program that's kind of like working on a worksheet, but it's on a computer. It just shows a large grid, like what you can see here, with loads of rows that go across, and our rows are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. They go across the screen, back and forth. And columns, which go up and down. So the columns are written with letters. We've got column A, B, C, D, E, and so on. So our columns go up and down, and our rows go across. And where a row and a column meet, there we've got an individual that's called a cell. The word is cell. Cell. Okay, this word here. So a cell is an individual little square or rectangle on a spreadsheet. Okay, so what do we do? Well, you can put words in there, numbers, you can make headings, and you can store loads of different information. Why do we use them? Well, the main reason that we use spreadsheets is to do calculations faster. Okay, it's for automatic calculations. I can use the spreadsheet to solve maths for me. Okay, so we can use a spreadsheet to add up items all together, to calculate tax, to calculate scores, all sorts of things. It really just means that the computer's doing maths for me, which sounds pretty great. As well as that, it also helps me to put information into a visual image so I can actually see that data. Okay, so we call those things like graphs and pie charts. Okay, and all I have to do is input the data. So for example, on this spreadsheet here, I have gotten an amount on my x-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my y-axis is 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25. And I can actually work out, I can create a graph that shows me that data represented. I can see how steep that curve goes up. Okay, so it can be spreadsheets can be great for visually representing data. All right, so that might all sound like a lot at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to take it 1 week at a time. So let's jump over to Purple Mash. Make sure you've logged on. Up here, you should see something called a to-do. All right, so if you click on your to-dos, I have set for you the to-do here. So it's called to-do spelling competition example. So you need to click on the edit button, not the edit button, sorry, the preview button, and you can come right into it. Okay, and this is what it should look like. Okay, so it's going to be sort of my turn, your turn. So just make sure you've opened this on your screen and then just sort of leave it, and I'm going to talk you through what you're looking at. Okay, so now that you've got it open, let me explain. This spreadsheet contains the information about the class called 3P, about their spelling scores. Okay, so in my first column, column A, I can see it says name, and then it's Thomas, Olivia, Jack. So this tells me the names of all the students. In column B, the first word is score. So this tells me what score each child got. Thomas got 56, Olivia got 135, Jack got 140, and so on. And in column C, I can see it says out of, and then every one of those cells says 140. So I know that that's how many they could have gotten, and the number underscore is how many they did get. For example, Thomas got 56 out of 140. Okay, so I could scroll down. So using either I click with my left finger on the bottom of the mouse pad, and I scroll with my right, okay, so to go up or down, or I come across to the right here and I can click on my, using my cursor, and I can drag it up or down. Or you can use 2 fingers, put both of them on the trackpad, and scroll up and down like that. If you need to practice, by all means, have a go. But let's move into what are we going to do. So the goal today for our spreadsheet is we want to use the spreadsheet to calculate the percentage for us. I don't want to have to sit here and work out Thomas got 56 out of 140. 56 divided by 140 equals, I don't know, it's too hard. I can't figure that out. So I'm going to use the calculator on the spreadsheet. It's going to do it for us. Okay, so I want to know the percentage. So we're going to have a column full of the percentages so I can see how well they did as a percentage. Underneath that, I've got something that says 0 dp, 1 dp, and 2 dp. What do you think that might stand for? Don't worry if you can't figure it out, it's a bit tricky. It stands for decimal place, okay? So, for example, in this column, I don't want any decimal places, so the number might be 10%, 20%, 26%. In my next column, I'm going to have one decimal place, so it might be 26.3%, 26.8%. And in this column, we're going to have two decimal places, 26.29%, 26.31%. So I'm going to show you how we can set that before we do it. So this is where you're going to be joining me in a minute. What we're going to do is I'm going to first click on the cell D4, okay, D4, right underneath the 0 thing. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my mouse just a little bit lower till it turns into a double arrowed line, like that, double-headed arrow, okay? Once I'm there, I'm going to use my left finger to click on my mouse pad and my right finger, and I'm going to drag that down. I'm going to keep dragging all the way, okay? Oh, it won't go, so I'm going to let go. I'm going to go back, click on it again, and I'm going to drag it all the way down until every child is selected in that row. Make sure there's a blue outline around that, okay? Being very careful not to click anywhere else yet. I'm going to bring my mouse over to the right side of my spreadsheet, and I'm going to use my two fingers. I'm scrolling down. I'm going to find the decimal place button where it says 0, and I'm going to click on it, and it comes up with something called Format Cell. Now, today we're doing percentages. Okay, so percentage. So I want to click on the percentage button and then click on set decimal place, and it says 2. So I don't want 2. How many do I want in this column? I want 0. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to put 0 in there. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to click off. All right, so your turn now. Click on the square. Find the double-headed arrow, drag it all the way down to select all the children. Might take more than one attempt. And then go over to the 0.00 percentages and set decimal. Should be 0. Once you've done that, come back and press play. All right, so now we're going to come across to the next column, column E. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to highlight it, move my mouse till I find the double-headed arrow, drag it all the way down to the bottom till I hit Jessica. Okay, come across to the right-hand side. I'm going to click on percentage, set decimal place, and I'm going to change the 2 into a 1 because it says 1 decimal place. And I'm going to hit enter and come off it. Your turn, off you go. And last but not least, I'm going to do our third column, which says 2 decimal place. So clicking on the top cell in that column, I'm going to find the double-headed arrow. I'm going to drag it all the way down. I might need to do it. There we go. All the way to the bottom. It takes practice. Coming across to the right, I'm going to click on percentage, set decimal place. Oh, it already says 2, so I'm just going to press the enter button and leave it. So now when we do these calculations, it will automatically add the right number of decimals. Great job. Excellent work. So now let's get into making a calculation. So how do I work out a percentage? Can you remember? How do I work out, if I want to know the percentage of something, how do I work it out? So you can pause the video, discuss with a partner, think out loud. What numbers? So for example, for Thomas, how would you work it out? So for Thomas, I'll leave you some time. Sorry, you can pause the video. All right, well, hopefully you've had a think. Don't worry if you couldn't get it. I want to solve this one, I want to do my score divided by the whole. Okay, so it's going to be score divided by the whole. So for Thomas, that would be 56 divided by 140. Okay, 56 divided by 140. So let's do it. Here we go. I click on the box where I want to put my percentage score. Then I'm going to come up to this FX up the top here where it says Formula Wizard, and I'm going to click on it. Okay, so my turn first, you'll have your time. So it says select the first cell in the calculation. Well, I decided that I want Thomas's score, which was 56. So I'm going to come across to column B where it says, oh, there's score. What was his score? His score was 56. I'm going to click on it. And the cell that I've clicked on appears here, B4. And let me just double check that. Was it in column B? Yes. And was going across, was it in number 4? Excellent, it was. So B4. So B4, and then I said, do I want to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? What do I want to do? I'm going to divide. And then lastly, what am I dividing it for? B4 divided by what? So I'm going to come across to my spreadsheet. I want to divide it by the number of the total test, which was 140. So I'm going to click on that number there. Let me just double check. Was that column C and across 4? Excellent, D4. Once you do that, I'm going to press OK. There we go. Thomas got 40%. 40%. Fantastic. Excellent. I know he got 40%. All right, so I'm going to come across, see if there were any decimals. So I'm going to come across to the next column. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to press FX. Select the first cell. Well, it was 56 divided by 140. Press OK. Oh, 40.0. So actually, he was bang on 40%. And third, let me just do the last column. I've got FX. What was his? All right, his score was 56 divided by 140. Press OK. Wow, there are no decimal places. His score was a perfect round 40%. All right, I'm going to do one more before it's your turn. Here I go. So I'm coming down to Olivia. I want to click on the empty square where I'm going to get her percentage. I'm going to come up to FX and click on it. Then I'm going to click on her score. She got 135. I want to divide, and I'm dividing it by what amount? I go and click on the 140 next to her name and press OK. Well, she got 96%. Fantastic. I'm going to come across to the 1 decimal place, pressing FX. I'm going to come across for Olivia, 135. So I'm going to press on the 135 again. What am I doing? Adding, subtracting, timesing, or dividing? I am dividing by 140. Press OK. Oh, so actually she got a bit more than 96%. Using those decimals, I can see she got 96.4. So she's actually a little bit above 96%, but not quite at 97. Let's see if I go even 1 decimal place further. Clicking on the square that I want to fill, the cell, sorry. Pressing on FX, I click on 135 divided by 140 and press OK. Oh, even better, she was at 96.43%, so she did very well. Okay, so it's your turn. I'd like you to pause the video and only, and I stress this, only do that step for Thomas and Olivia, nobody else, just Thomas and Olivia, please. Okay, so off you go. Pause the video. You need to click on the empty cell, press FX, and do the equation, please. Once you've done that, come back and press play. All right, lovelies. Well, you should have the same scores as me. Well done if you got Thomas and Olivia's done. Okay, so now that we know how to use the computer to work out their percentages, I could go and do that for Jack and Oliver and Ruby and Charlie, but it would actually take me a bit of time. So I'm going to show you a shortcut how we can do it even faster. So if I click on Olivia's square of her percentage, 96%, up in the Formula Wizard box, it tells me what the calculation is. It tells me B5, this little slash there means divided by C5, and I can see the cell highlighted. B5 divided by C5. So let me show you a fast way. What I could do is I can actually come to the bottom of the square here, just like I highlighted it before, and I can drag it down. And what's happening is it's copying that calculation, but using the next row's number. So let me go back up. I'll show you that one more time. If I come to the bottom of Olivia's box, if I click on Olivia's box and I drag it down, it does the same calculation but uses row 6. So now it's done, if I click on this, it's done B6 divided by C6. Now I can click and drag it down one more, and this box has done B7 divided by C7. And I can keep dragging that down, and it's using the same calculation for each student. Okay, so use 2 fingers, remember? Your left finger to click on the mouse pad and your right finger to drag it down. All right, so I'd like you to pause the video, click on Olivia's cell for 96%, get to that little double-headed arrow and then drag it down. Just do one child at a time until you've got everybody's scores. Once you've done that, double check, do your scores, are they the same as mine? Once you've done that, come back and press play. Fantastic work. See how easy it is? Like, instead of me having to work this out for every child, now the computer's done it for me. Let's do it for the 1 decimal place. So I can see 1 decimal place. I click on the box, I check the formula. B5 divided by C5. I'm going to drag that down and check. Oh, 100%. 98.6. Oh, so actually he didn't get 99%. It was rounded up. He got 98.6%. And I'm going to keep dragging it down 1 child at a time to get their individual scores. Okay, so dragging it down, and I can see how it changes. So for example, Emily, this person, she at first it looked like she got 71%, but actually she got 71.4. She was really close to getting 72%. Whereas Alfie, first it looked like he got 61%, which looks great, but actually he got a little less than 61%, 60.7. So you can go do that, and you can then go and do for the last column, again, 2 decimal places, just dragging it down until you reach Jessica. So pause the video, go away and do decimal place for every single child, and just double check, do your percentages match mine? Once you've done that, come back and press play. All right, welcome back. Okay, so now we know how to use a spreadsheet to really fast, much more quickly, find out a percentage. So I can look at my class now and I can assess how well did they do on their spelling test. So Olivia got 96%. Oh, actually, she got 96.43. So she was really close to going up another percentage. She was actually really close. So I'm having a look now. I want you to go up and down your score. Who was the highest scorer? Can you figure it out? Shout it out once you found it. Well, we have 2 children who got 100%, Jack and Ruby. All right, who was the lowest scorer? Who got the lowest percentage? All right, when you find it, shout it out. It was Harry. Harry, in this case, got 19%. So that's something I can work with Harry on. These are random children. It's not a real person, obviously. All right, now, what was the average score? What did most people get? It's actually really hard to tell, isn't it? But I can do another calculation now to find out what was the average class score. So it'll be my turn, then your turn. What we're going to do is we're going to come across to column I, okay, and then across to number 5, which would be this one here. And we're going to type in this. We're going to type in average class score. That has become, there we go. Now we can read it. Average class score. Okay. And then I'm going to click on the cell next to it, J5. All right. In this cell, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across to the right and I'm going to decide how many decimal places do I want to give it. Okay. So I'm going to click on the decimal place, set decimal place, make sure it says 2 and press enter. All right. Once you've done that, I'll let, so you can pause the video now, go away and do that. All right. Okay, now that you've done that and you know it's going to be 2 decimal places, what we're going to do is we're going to come up to the formula wizard again, and instead of using simple this time, we're going to come across to the advanced. And what we want to find is the average. So if you go to the drop-down menu and click on it, you can go to average, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to use the scores from the percentages that we calculated earlier. So it says select the range of cells. So what I want to do is I want to click on my first one, and then I want to go and click and hold and drag it all the way down to the bottom, and you can see there's a light blue dotted line around it. So in the box here it should say F4 colon F16. It must say that, otherwise it's not done correctly. So once you've done that, you press OK, and we can see the average. It calculates it for me. It adds them all up and then divides them by the number of students. The average score was 76.15%, which tells me overall the class did pretty well. I'm very happy with that. All right, so your turn now. So click the cell, come to FX, come to advanced, click on average, and then click and drag using 2 fingers on your trackpad all the way down and press OK. You should get the same score that I did, which I can't show you, 76%. Okay, so pause the video now, go and do that. Okay, welcome back. So you should have got 76.15%. If you didn't, something's gone wrong. So we can see, you can rewatch the video, see if you can figure it out. What I'd like you to do, come up to the top right, and I want you to press save. What you're going to do is go down to your class, Exeter, Newcastle, or Nottingham. I would like you to click on that folder. What you're going to do is type in your name, Miss Boots, and we're going to type in the word spelling, all right? And then I want you to press save. So don't call yourself Miss Boots, obviously. Call yourself your own name. And the word spelling, and press save. This way your teacher can see how well or how successful you were at using these spreadsheets. Or if you struggled a little bit, it means that we know how we can help you. All right, so I'm going to press save. Excellent, it's been saved. And I'm going to press exit and close the program. But that is the end of our lesson today. I hope you've enjoyed this little introduction into coding or using spreadsheets. They are a fantastically useful tool. Next week we'll be building on our knowledge, so I hope you've learned something from this lesson, and I will see you next week. Have a lovely day. Bye.